was one of those quiet mornings where everything felt still, like the world was holding its breath, waiting for something magical to happen. Sunlight swept through my window and painted little shapes across the floor. My sketchbook was open. My pencils were ready, but I couldn't decide what to draw. The air felt different, like it was humming with color. That's when I noticed a painting on my wall. It looked familiar, but also new, like it had been waiting there all along, hiding in plain sight. The colors shimmered softly, swirling together like water. I took a step closer, and the closer I got, the brighter it glowed. For a second, I thought I imagined it. Then the frame trembled, and the painting began to move. The wall slid open with a soft sigh, and behind it was a doorway filled with light. Not harsh, not scary, soft pinks, golds, and blues, all mixing like sunlight through stained glass. Warm air drifted out, smelling faintly like paint and flowers. My heart was racing, but I couldn't look away, so I did what any artist would do. I stepped inside. Everything went quiet. Then I saw it, a secret art studio, hidden behind my bedroom wall. It was bigger than it looked from the outside. Easels floated gently in the air. Paint jars glowed from within, each one pulsing with its own color. Brushes dipped themselves into paint and twirled like dancers. Canvases hung mid-air, showing pictures that moved and shifted like dreams caught halfway between sleeping and waking. I walked slowly through the room, spinning in circles, afraid to blink in case it disappeared. When I touched one of the brushes, it leapt from my hand and started painting on its own, broad strokes of light across an invisible canvas. Every stroke hung in the air, glowing like starlight. And then I realized the paintings weren't just pictures. They were alive. I opened my sketchbook and drew the first thing that came to mind, a tiny butterfly. But before I could finish its wings, the lines lifted from the page. It fluttered into the air, wings made of shifting paint and golden dust. Another followed, and another. Soon the whole room was full of them, fluttering around me, their wings leaving trails of color wherever they flew. It was beautiful, like standing inside a living rainbow. The colors filled every corner of the studio. They mixed and danced and laughed until the air itself glowed. The light was warm on my skin, and for a moment, I felt like I was part of the painting, to one color among many. Then, slowly, everything began to settle. The brushes drifted back to their jars. The butterflies landed softly on the walls and turned back into painted shapes. The glow faded into a calm golden light, humming softly like a heartbeat. I stood there, still holding my sketchbook, smiling. Maybe this place had always been here. Maybe it just needed me to believe in it. All those colors and drawings, maybe they'd been waiting for me to open that door. When I finally stepped back into my room, the doorway closed behind me, silent as a secret. But the light from the studio still glimmered faintly around the edges of the frame, like it was saying goodbye. Now, every time I draw, I listen closely, because sometimes, if the room is quiet enough, I can still hear it, the brushes moving, the butterflies fluttering, the heartbeat of the secret art studio, where imagination never sleeps.